I'm standing in front of a site-specific installation by British Liberian artist Lina Viktor entitled Triumvirate. It includes 3 pieces in her Constellation series created with a backdrop that she created specifically for the North Carolina community of black-on-black foliage. Again, behind these 3 pieces called Constellations. This is actually an expansion of the Good as Gold exhibition that we have on view right now at the North Carolina Museum of Art. And I really wanted it to be available for our greater public so they could experience the signature colors and ideas of the exhibition, black and gold. These colors are not necessarily colors for Lina Viktor, however. She thinks of them more as values that exist on a spectrum, as values that have this history that we have considered over time to be aligned with certain ideas. So for example, gold is considered to be wealth and light and spirituality, the sun, really positive qualities. Black, on the other hand, is considered to be gloomy, dark, the dark continent of Africa, for example, evil, bad, negative qualities. So she considers this in her work and in the label text and in her quotes. Why do we align black with these ideas, and how would that make someone of black heritage feel? In these 3 multifaceted works, Lina Viktor uses this opportunity to layer photography with self-portraiture, with 24-karat gold, and with a site-specific vinyl wall installation to tackle some of these layered experiences that we see in textiles and in the experience of life, like in DNA, the spirals that we get in it, this perfect balance that we have in plants, the cyclical nature of life, of experience, and of humanity. And also she's getting at the fraught histories that tend to cycle and repeat as well. So the foliage in the background, the black on black, is actually a critical indication of the so-called dark continent, of this view that we had through the 19th century of Africa that didn't look directly at it with a positive view, but only got these sort of obfuscated views of Africa. So it wasn't getting the real experience, it wasn't getting the real history. If you stand anywhere in the room, it changes your viewing of this piece. It changes your position. So this is what Lina was thinking when she created this black on black, is that you can get an oblique view of it. Look closely at these paintings. The gold is its own source of light, and to create a very particular sheen and a very particular hue of this gold, which again Lina thinks of as a value, not so much of a color, she layers acrylic underneath this 24-karat gold. So there's built up circles, squares, triangles, all these different patterns that get layered upon layered until she gets to her almost final product, and then she coats it in 24-karat gold. So this creates a really beautiful sheen and experience that is coupled with black. And I have to point out also that Lina never places her work on white walls. It always has to be on a ground of black or possibly blue. She uses a very restricted color palette. This also relates to the lighting of the installation itself. It has to be a very particular kind of light that lets the black and the gold illuminate in a very particular way that again relates to our universal experience of gold and light. And it registers very particularly with humans. It's almost like a frequency that lights register for humans, sort of like sound.